picture this, we have no funding, we have no material, we have no contractor license because we were still waiting for it in the mail. And here we are trying to start the company to take care of a very big job.
Change is inevitable. Like every success happens because you changed something and you it was a fear that was within you.
Motivation only lasts for a short amount of time, but discipline is what carries you forward.
I can't do this on my own, period.
Are you looking at your business in terms of emotion, or are you looking at your business in terms of what's practical?
I still believe that America is the best country in the world. Where can a kid of immigrants with no education become a physician?
This is Small Business Celebration, where we're celebrating small businesses for big breakthroughs.
Welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration. We're going to be talking about when is it appropriate for me to stop renting equipment and buy it? And, you know, my business is really profitable, but is it strong enough to weather the storms of when things aren't going well? And to help guide us through all this is Renato Zamora, the owner of Scaffold Solutions Unlimited. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you for having us, and it's a pleasure. We're happy to be part of your podcast.
And for visionaries who don't know who you are you and what is it that you do?
My name is Renato Zamora, and I'm the president of Scaffold Solutions Unlimited. We are a scaffold service company who focuses on industrial, commercial, and residential clients.
Now, visionaries, many of you have been through the situation or heard the situation of a corporate takeover, and sometimes that leads to bigger and better things, and that's what happened to you, did it not?
Yeah, I used to work for an entity for almost 20 years, and corporate takeover was really in the making. It took about 3 years.
Wow.
I moved up from many positions. I started as a apprentice, I moved on to a journeyman, then a foreman, and then I jumped to a project manager. And by that time, I didn't know where the ball was going to end. So I talked to my wife and said, hey, I think it's time for me to move on and take the leap of faith. And we talked about it because, you know, we were very stable on our day-to-day operations. And we were going to go to an unknown that was very scary for us.
Right?
So she was like, well, we really have to think about what you want to do. But if it's your dream, I'll support you and we'll go ahead and make it happen. It took probably about a year to get it all done. And, you know, we took the leap of faith and here we are.
Did you always want to be a business owner?
No, not really. I was very comfortable where I was doing the things that I was doing. It taught me a lot of new things that I didn't know, a lot of skills, how to talk to people, how to put proposals together, how to put teams together to work together to accomplish a goal. So, you know, I was in a very comfortable spot, but thanks to the good managers that I had that taught me a lot of stuff, it made it very difficult because I was in a very comfortable spot. And that's, I think, the hardest for any business owner to do, get out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. I was mentioning about jumping into the pond with alligators, sharks, and you're juggling chainsaws trying to make the business happen.
Right,
and it's nothing short of that. So
Sure.
A lot of people don't want to do that, but you see the light at the end of the tunnel.
But what pushed you?
I think what that was, it was having to rely on someone else for my future. Corporations, they put numbers on people and you're just a number. So when you can't say what your future is going to be, it makes it harder for you to feel like I want to be part of this company and go in the direction they're going when I don't want to go that direction. So me being uncomfortable with not knowing if I was going to be there in a year or two, I think was the final straw that made me, you know, start my business.
You mentioned you had this conversation with your wife. How did you convince her that this was the right decision?
I think the business plan, she knew that I knew the business because, you know, I've been working in scaffolding for 20 years. I don't have any other education other than scaffolding. So when I presented to her the business plan and how we're going to accomplish the goal, she kind of said, wait a minute, this guy's not just starting a business with no clue of how things going to work and what he's going to do and how he's going to manage it. So I think once she saw the business plan, I think that led her to kind of say, hey, you know what? it might be okay, but it still took a while. I mean, because having a good business plan and a plan of attack doesn't guarantee your success or for you to take the leap of faith.
You're still juggling chainsaws in a pond full of alligators.
Yes, and in addition to that, the thing that also helped me was my two business partners, Bernabe Garcia and Alejandro Cortez. I mean, they really know their stuff. Bernabe takes care of all the safety trainings, new hire orientations. Alejandro Cortez, he's a really good scaffold builder. He could go ahead and build a scaffold on an airplane up 30,000 feet from the air, make great material list, and then knows how to manage the crews out in the field. So they do their job really well. And our office manager, Alejandra, she deals with all the stuff in the office. So my wife saw all this, that I had a team prepping so that we could go ahead and succeed. And I think once she saw all that, she kind of felt a little better. And, you know, she said, whatever you want to do, I'll support you, and let's go ahead and get to it. And then the rest is history.
What was that first project, or what was the project, I should say, that proved to you that you could do this?
Hands down, it was the first job. It was
Really?
yeah, it was the hardest because picture this, we have no funding, we have no material, we have no contractor license because we were still waiting for it in the mail. And here we are trying to start the company to take care of a very big job, which was a plant outage.
A power plant.
A power plant.
And this is where electricity is made for the grid.
Yes. So
Wow.
every year, sometimes they shut down once or twice, and then they have maintenance repairs throughout the year so that it's running properly. So when we managed this project, we had to buy enough material to make sure we had enough for the outage.
And when you say enough material, you're talking about scaffolding.
Scaffolding material. So you kind of have to anticipate what they're going to need so that you have enough, because imagine this, it's a first customer, a first job, and we run out of material. It was not going to go good.
No, no.
So one of the key things that happened was that customer believed in me, and I'll never forget what he said to me. He goes, you know what? I only know one thing. When I need scaffolding, I call Renato. And that kind of gave me a good feeling that he was going to give us a shot, and he certainly did. And that job made us who we are, because if we would have failed, that would have been the end of SSU. We would have never gotten off the ground. So it was very difficult, but after it was all said and done, then we got another customer, and then from there it was just a big old snowball. And that's when I think people finally realized that we were ready for managing and taking over whatever jobs came our way.
How much of the market would you estimate that you currently have now of the scaffolding market in Kern County?
I would want to say we probably have about 80% of the market. And it's because of long-term relations that I've had with customers, and it's transitioned to them seeing that we provide an excellent service of scaffolding. The team that we created has shown nothing but that. And I think when they see and see the truck show up with the guys, they know that they're there to do a great job, provide a safe scaffold, because anyone that gets in a scaffold, they're trusting us with their life. Something could happen and somebody could seriously get hurt. So I believe that they have that trust in us, knowing that we have a good material to, have the workers on and not worry about them getting hurt.
Just out of curiosity, if you were to put all the scaffolding end to end, how many miles of scaffolding do you think you own right now?
I would say currently we have about 1,300,000 pounds of material, which is about 30 semis of stuff. And that's a lot. We keep track of our inventory. So when we started, we didn't have much, but yeah, it grew to 1.3 million.
And what kinds of projects do you typically do? We talked about the power plant, which is a large project, but what kinds of customers do you serve?
We serve industrial, which is food processing plants. We do oil and gas. We do commercial buildings when they need to repair a window, put stucco, waterproofing. And then for residential customers, sometimes they want to paint the house, they want to change their fascia boards, and any high reach area that they cannot get with a ladder, because ladders are very dangerous. You put a little bit of weight and there you go.
Right.
And you're gonna end up in the ground and you're gonna be seriously hurt. So those are the major customers that we follow and we try to pursue and get work.
And if you're wanting to remodel a house as you're buying a new house, might I suggest you talk to Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty. Born and raised and never left Bakersfield. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Mike Saba is also the sponsor of our first Visioneer question. And Visioneers, if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and your question could appear here on Small Business Celebration, just like Laura, who asked, we're renting a lot of equipment to do various jobs for our business. How can you determine the most suitable moment to transition from renting equipment to purchasing that equipment instead?
I believe that when you have repetitive customers, that you're going to be servicing them year round, that's a great sign that you need to buy it, because you'll be renting and not keeping any of the profit from your rental. So if you have repetitive customers year round, yeah. If you don't know what you're going to have as far as your whole year, if you're going to be busy 1 week, a month, it makes no sense for you to buy it. But if you know you're busy year round and outages and stuff like that, that's the key sign that you need to buy. Because if you're doing more jobs versus lesser jobs is the key to me. So I think that's the way for you to find out.
What was the first major scaffolding purchase you made?
That was when we started. I remember walking to our scaffolding provider, and I've called them multiple times asking to see if they could give me pricing. And they don't take you seriously, because I could imagine how many calls they get from people just trying to fill the market. So when I called them and they kind of didn't want to give me a price, I said, you know what, let me go over there. So one day out of the blues, I show up and I walk into their shop in Corona, and I'm like, hey, is Ryan here? And he's like, hey, Renato. I'm like, yeah. So he goes, oh man, you were serious about the list, because we were modifying it so much, because I think that was a thing that he probably said, oh, he's modifying the list too many times.
Right.
But we were modifying it because we were getting ready for that big project that we didn't want to fail. So when he saw me in there and I met the branch manager, we got along real well. We talked and we put numbers on the table and we gave him the revised list, and that's the biggest check I've written on my entire life.
How much was that check?
It was $101,000, our first purchase. So that's an amount that I'll never forget.
And how long had you been in business when you wrote that check?
0 days. We were just barely starting. So that's what my wife told me. You know what? Everything was put in that basket, because, if we failed, that was a lot of money to just burn.
How many times have you reused that same scaffolding since?
Oh man, you know what? We did some markings on it, because we put the initials of the 2 people that erected the first scaffolding.
Right.
And I want to say we used it probably over thousands of times, because normally a piece doesn't get swapped out or switched unless it gets damaged.
Right.
We have inventory control here. When all the material comes back to the yard guy inspects it to make sure it's safe to use again. And if it's bent or broken or you see something wrong with it, we put it aside and then we get rid of it.
It would be safe to say that you've made your money back on your purchase.
Yes, it was a very good investment. And that's why I think you have to know when to buy and when to rent, because for me, I kind of was shooting for the long run, and I was like, okay, we're going to have repetitive customers. So since day one, I've never rented. I've always bought material.
But that's because you knew that you were going to be reusing that over and over and over again.
Yeah, but another thing was that I wasn't sure if we were still going to be in business in a year or two. And my wife would always ask me, do you really need to buy? Why can't you just rent? And there were some projects that, it was just a one-timer and we had the material busy in other jobs and we rent a little bit here and there, but nothing big. But then again, when we got more jobs, we bought more stuff, and that's how we grew our inventory. And that's why it's so important for business owners to reinvest in your company on the right stuff. You don't want to have boats and sea-doos and all kinds of stuff. You want to reinvest in the things that are going to give you money back and make some profit on your return of investment.
Walk us through very briefly, what is the system of building scaffolding?
The most important is the initial job walk. Anybody who has been in the field to set up a scaffold has to walk the area to make sure that the size you measure is going to fit. where you're gonna put your ladder, where the deck is gonna go. And the way it's put together is like a lot of people working together. The equipment is gonna be touched by all the crew members because it gets there on a rack, on a flatbed, and then they have to either unload it by hand or forklift. And once it's in the ground, they configure whatever size they figured, and then they start building. So it's one piece by one piece by one piece, and it's like a Lego. You put one together, and then two and three, and then you set up your 4 legs, you set up your horizontals, your verticals, your ladder axis, the deck, and then your handrail, so that when you're in the deck level, you don't fall off of it. And it's amazing how the scaffold builders work with one another, because a lot of people don't even have to ask you for what piece you need. A good scaffold builder will have it there ready for you to reach it and put it together, versus someone saying, hey, I need this, I need that, and you're running around in the ground trying to give him what he needs. But a good crew will know exactly what they need without anybody asking for anything. And then for the dismantle, it's just totally the opposite. You tear everything down and pass it back to the ground to put it in the rack, and then on top of your truck, and you're out of the site.
How tall can scaffolding get?
Without an engineer stamp, it's 125 feet. Once you go over
How
that
many
height,
stories is that?
yeah, that would be like 13 or 12. So
12 or
depending if
13
it's 8
stories,
or
okay.
10 foot high. But no stamp engineer needed. You could go up to 125. Beyond that, it's needed. Or there's projects that a customer tells you, no matter what size it is, they want to stamp the engineer drawing. Or if you're going to cover it with shrink wrap or canopy, because there's wind factors that are taking place, so then also an engineer has to look at that and bless it. But the correct height is 125 or below, no stamp needed. 125 feet or higher, a stamp needed, or by the request of a customer.
On average, how long does it take to set up scaffolding?
The day-to-day that we do in and out, it normally takes about a full day. The crew gets to the yard, they load it up, they head out to the job site, they get there, they get their permits, they get their job hazard analysis filled out, they unload it, build it, and then back to the yard. So it's normally an 8-hour day. Once you get into the big projects that, you're talking a semi or 2 loads of material, it could take, 3, 4, 5 days, depending on the hardness of the job. But the day-to-day jobs, it's about a day.
What is the highest you've ever, or your staff has ever built a scaffolding?
The highest that we build is for the mobile antenna towers. A lot of people have probably noticed that the mobile providers are going from 4G to 5G. And when you're driving down the highway, you see those antenna towers. Well, guess what? All those antenna wirings and stuff, sometimes they can't get it with the man lift. So they ask for scaffolding. The highest one we've done, I believe, is about a 90-footer. And we go ahead and build it out in the middle of nowhere to provide access to the antenna people to change their antennas and wiring on those antennas.
And that brings us to the Visioneer game. Now, Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone. I have no idea what the word it's going to generate is, but more importantly, neither does our guest. And our guest has to take each one of 3 words and somehow associate it with his business. And Visioneers, you too can also play in the Visioneer game. Simply pick any one of the 3 words that Renato takes and simply go ahead and relate it to your business, and make sure you include the name of your business in the comment section. And Renato, you do realize that the fate of the entire scaffolding world is based upon your ability to get these 3 words correct.
Amen, and we certainly will.
Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Okay, our first word is trolley.
Our scaffold builders would love if there could always be a trolley system to move the equipment around versus them doing it by hand.
Nice, well done, you. First word's correct, got it. Love it, love it. Okay, our second word is umbrella.
If we ever built the scaffold in a rainy day, the scaffold builders would love to have an umbrella so that they won't get soaked.
Very good. That's 2 for 2. Well done, Renato. Okay, our third word. Are you ready? Thumb.
Every time we go to a customer's residential project, we would always love the customers to give us a thumbs up of a good job that the guys do for good reviews. Thank you.
Nice. See, it wasn't that bad. Well done.
No, it was
3 for 3
good.
for 3.
Nice and easy. Keep it clean.
Well, and keeping a thumbs up or getting a thumbs up is really important. And this was not, however, the case with the first bank that you had to deal with, was it?
Yeah, it certainly was. I was a member of this bank for many, many years on my personal side.
Right.
So when I started the business, I didn't even think of what bank I needed to go to because I said I've been with this bank for many, many years. Well, they helped me at the beginning to set up my account and all that. And they did give me a line of credit, but we did not have a financial backer. It was me and my two business partners' own money that started the business. So when we were like 4, 5, 6 months into the business, now we have payroll, we have gas we got to pay, office supplies. So, the money evaporates very quickly.
Right.
So the bank did, give us a line of credit, which was not much, but 40,000 helped a lot. We were very happy. So that was 4 months into it. So then we moved pretty quickly, and about a year and a half into it, I'm like, okay, well, we need more than this 40,000. So I called to ask for a business line of credit increase. And they said, yeah, they took all my information and said that within a couple of days, they would get back to me to let me know. Well, the day they called me, I was really happy because she started with congratulations. So I'm thinking, oh, hooray.
Yeah.
Anything
Here we
after
go.
that doesn't matter, right? I'm already talking about let's go have a shot and celebrate because we're going to have a little bit more money to do more things. And she told me, you got a $1,000 increase. So I'm thinking, did I get an increase? And
I just bought $100,000
Yes.
worth of scaffold.
Yes. And that's when, I knew that we were done with that bank. And what happened there, see, when one door closes, another opens, because there was another individual from another bank that was making a site visit to one of his customers. He was taking him a box of donuts, and one of our trucks was there at the place getting repaired. He took a picture of my the company name and number, and he called me, and he offered his bank services, and that bank was great. And ever since then, we've been able to not worry about lines of credit or credit cards because he's taking care of us, and we're extremely happy with that bank. So
Is he still with the bank?
yes, he is.
And who is it?
Is Ernie Espinosa.
And what bank is he with?
He is with Chase
Nice.
Bank. So we love them. He's been a great help to our success, and we will never forget how he went ahead and got a hold of us. So there you have it. You never know what you're going to run into, because he was just minding his business, taking a box of donuts to a customer, and picked up an extra one.
Talk about your relationship with Ernie, and why is that so important for your business?
He knows a lot about banking, and when we have a scenario where I'm not certain of what I should do or how I should approach it, I could always call him. He's always available 24/7, and he brings a lot to the table. He has a lot of contacts. They have a lot of programs. They have a lot of rebates, a lot of rewards. So, it's not just having one account and doing that relationship. He's always telling me if we're trying to buy stuff, acquire a property, or just grow, or if we want to put money aside for, planning or for investing. So he's very helpful, and he's always been a great asset to us.
You mentioned that the work out there is not easy. And we live in an age where you can go work for a fast food restaurant and make, a considerable living. What do you do to retain these workers and keep them motivated and keep them coming back?
Well, first is their pay rate. We pay them well. Second is we provide health insurance, dental, and vision. And we also provide a pension plan for their retirement. And then we also take a lot of drinks and lunches to their job sites.
I bet you that's a winner.
They love it. They're always looking for Renato or Alejandro or Burnaby to stop by and take them something to drink or eat. And then we also provide like shaded areas for them to take breaks. We don't mind them running the truck's AC when it's really hot out there as well. And we're always providing things for them to be safe, like good gloves, good eyewear, good hard hats for their job, so that if something gets dropped in their head, they're protected. So we don't hold back on any of that. We try to always provide whatever we need in our part, and then also bottled water. Before we used to buy ice, and we were spending so much money on ice every day. We ended up getting an ice machine here. So in the mornings they come, they get their waters or their drinks, and they fill them up with ice, and that's one less stuff they got to do at the store to buy ice. So it's a win-win for everybody.
I have to ask, what is the favorite flavor of ice cream that you take out to them?
Well, a lot of people are probably going to say that's their favorite, but it's the chocolate chip with mint. So, mint chocolate chip. Yes.
Okay, all right. And whether you need one copier or many, Executive Copier Solutions has a wide range of options in stock to meet your business needs. They also offer accessory tools to enhance your machine, such as document scanning, staplers, and more. Call Executive Copier Solutions at 661-322-0190 or visit their website at execcopiers.com and learn how they can support your business. And Visioneers Executive Copier Solutions is a sponsor of our second Visioneer question, which comes from Javier, who asks, how can you tell the difference between a profitable business and one that is equipped and prepared to handle changes?
When you're starting, you want to make sure that you're focusing on buying the things you need versus the things that you want.
Right.
Because that is definitely not the same. When you're starting a company, whatever the company is, you don't have time to waste on stuff that you don't need, because at the end of the day, you need money for payroll and the things that matter. So when you're doing a project, only stick to the things that you know you're going to need. Once you receive the funds from that job, there's where you're going to have to make even a harder decision, because everybody wants to celebrate or acquire things that you don't need.
Right.
And money will evaporate so quickly that you're only going to be happy for a day or two, and then you're going to be stressing out over payroll. So once you have money saved, you have to make sure you're investing it properly. And once you see that money there, that will tell you that how you're doing business and how you're saving. I would consider spending, I would say, at least 20% on things you need and saving 80% for things you don't know that are going to be coming your way. Once you reach that formula, I think that will give you a good rating of your profit margin of when to go ahead and buy stuff that you know you're going to need down the line.
How did this 20/80 rule help you and save your business?
By a lot, because when we started, scaffolding is very expensive, especially during the pandemic when people came back to work. I mean, the prices for scaffolding skyrocketed, just like everything else. I think that managing the money correctly is a big key to your success, because we were focused more on the office stuff and payroll and insurances, because those are extremely expensive. If you could put an insurance for any other type of business and scaffolding, the insurance company loves scaffolding companies because they charge a lot of money.
Sure.
And that's why a lot of people don't understand when you're gonna get insurance, you're gonna be like, it's how much?
Right.
And that's why you have to be saving for those big purchases, because it's every year. No insurance, no work.
Chris Friels is a former guest, and he recommended you to appear on Small Business Celebration. What does Chris do for you?
He handles our IT stuff. He makes sure that our servers and everything from our email service and all that is protected. Right now, if you guys notice, there's a lot of people out there that they send you fishy emails trying to get your information and steal whatever they can, or make you, or have to trick you to send them some sort of payment or take a check from one of your customers. So he oversees all that so that we are secure, so that no outside hackers will come in and take our information and then, you know, make money from it.
Who else has been instrumental in your success?
One, my wife, without her support and her, you know, ability to be patient and see this through, because, you know, when you first start a business, you know, it changes your whole life. You're not doing the stuff that you used to, going out with your friends, going on vacations, having a party every other weekend. So it changes your life and your style. Her, you know, allowing me to count on her and give us a blessing was a good help for us. And then second, my business partners, Alejandro Cortez and Bernabe Garcia, was also a plus, because I like to delegate stuff, and I've never been a one man do all the jobs and wear all the hats for every position. So Bernabe and Alex have been a great help. And then also my office manager, Alejandra Duran, she's taken it above and beyond to learn new skills and keep the company running. So without having these individuals in the business, I don't think it would have been the same success story that we have now. So I focused on creating a team. when I started the company. And once the team was created, now the company takes care of itself because, you know, you have good, reliable people doing what they do best, and it takes a lot of stress from one individual. And I wouldn't recommend anybody to do everything. You have to hire people who do what they do and let them do their job. Don't micromanage. Get them to do what they know, and you do what you do, and focus on growing the business. That formula has been really good for us. It's worked for us. And the employees, without their hard work and dedication, scaffolding is not an easy job, especially in the summer or in the cold or in the rainy season. You're out there waking up early, going to, you know, point A, point B, and it's hard, labor intensive work. So I also want to thank them, and without them, we wouldn't have been here today.
It's no secret that there's a lot of business owners that are struggling right now. What do you say to them to encourage them and let them know that the sun shall rise again, and they can do it, they can make it?
Well, don't lose your patience. I think every business has a term of when you're gonna reach that term to be ready for whatever work comes your way. But even though when it seems like you have no work and nothing's going right, maybe you don't have work because, you know, it's not the right time for you, but you have to find other ways for you to find work. And for us, it was Google. When our slow time hits, you know, we started doing Google, and Google has brought a lot of jobs for us. So a lot of people stay focused on, oh, I'm not doing anything, I don't know what to do, and you're drowning in your own glass. You just have to take a breather and think of what else you need to do to find ways for you to keep going, because if there's one closed door, you have to find another one, or you have to make an opening for you to keep going and not lose faith.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about the one thing that you can do to make you welcome anywhere. But before we do that, if visionaries want to get in touch with you, Renato, how do they do that?
We have a webpage, scaffoldsolutionsunlimited.com. We have an Instagram page, Scaffold Solutions Unlimited, and we also have a TikTok channel, Scaffold Solutions Unlimited.
I'm detecting a theme here.
Yes, same thing. Or you could also email us, or you could call us at 661-233-9718.
What was that number again?
661-233-9718.
And we'll be right back with the one thing that you can do to make you welcome anywhere. Visionaries, do you need a good staple for your business? Might I suggest our Small Business Celebration blog? Yes, simply go to smallbusinesscelebration.com/blog, learn from our past guests on what works, what doesn't, so that you can grow a strong and profitable business. Simply go to smallbusinesscelebration.com/blog today. Do this and you'll be welcome anywhere. We're rapidly approaching our 300th episode here on Small Business Celebration, and as many of you visionaries know by now, I love human history. I love learning about people and the way they've developed and grown, the struggles they've had, the things that they've overcome, the lessons they have learned, and the accomplishments they have achieved. And it's something that I've been able to delve into here on this show, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. And not that long ago, I interviewed Kevin Russell of American Fabrication, and this gentleman was really, really nervous. Many of my guests are very nervous, but especially Kevin, because he's one of these kind of guys that he would much rather be in the back shop on the back 40 welding and fabricating things and just staying out of the limelight, as it were, and let others be in the front and get the spotlight themselves. And when we sat down and did our conversation with him, literally in a warehouse on the back 40 of his property, we got to talk about the things that he did and the things he was able to accomplish and grow and develop and the things that he was able to achieve. And he was really appreciative of that, and his episode turned out to be absolutely fantastic. And it was one of those kind of things that just reinforced and reminded me why I enjoy doing this, because he also was graciously appreciative of the conversation we had. In fact, he thanked me with a fabrication that he had his team make. I think it's pretty cool. I think I'll put it right here as a reminder that you do this. You go and you give honest appreciation, you learn about people, you learn about their successes and their achievements, and you do this, and you'll be welcome anywhere you go. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week here on Small Business Celebration. I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business, and we'll see you next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough. Why are scaffolders the most popular workers on the job site?
Because they're good at what they do and they never get tired.
I thought it was because they took the work to a whole new level.
That too. It's a combination of stuff, and that's certainly it too.
Okay, and how does a scaffolder tell a joke?
When he's writing the scaffold materials.
Nice!
All the time you have to be watching them in action, so.
I think that's a wonderful setup, too. Boo!
Yeah, they certainly love it.
Well done. Shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration.